because I went through in the last year, I literally asked myself, I'm like, what happened this year? Everything that felt like everything, I realized that everything that I built based on my traumas, in the sense of like based on the ego, and based on what I think I needed to do, and based on external validation, all of those things that were part of my life for external validation fell away. Relationships, my parts of my business, parts of yeah, mainly there's a lot of relationships, and not just romantic, but also partnerships in business, things like that. So all that fell apart, all of it melted away. That was no longer part of like the soul mission. It was part of ego mission, what the ego was trying to put together so that I could feel good and accomplished in my life. And I looked at my astrology because I'm like, what is happening with my life? And I realized in May of last year, before I went to Tulum, I had entered my Saturn return. And it ends this year on my birthday. And so the Saturn return, the Saturn is are you familiar with astrology? A little bit. So the Saturn is the planet of karma. And so when it goes into a return, it's literally like your karma is all coming up for it to be addressed so that you can transcend it into your dharma. It is a heavy planet, and we go through these Saturn returns during certain times in your life. The first one is usually when someone's between the ages of 28 to 32 or 33. And so I'm smack dab in the middle of it. I went in beginning of like 28, so May, happened in May 2018, and then it's going through the cycle and should end hopefully but it will end this year, and inevitably it's going to end. It's going to do its cycle. But during that Saturn return, so I realized that I spent my Saturn return in Tulum, and that's why I spent a year of, because when you listen to your inner guidance, that's where all the scary stuff of saying goodbye to certain things came forward. It was listening to that inner guidance. Because if it was listening to what felt comfortable, I would be like, no, I'm not doing that. Right. But I couldn't not listen. Because it was
Yes,
nagging.
yeah, it's like once you see it, once you have faced what your soul, what your emotions, what your mind, it's really trying to honor. It's like you cannot unsee it. Like you cannot say like there's nothing going on here. Now you have already seen that there's something that needs to be changed, that there's something that needs to be honored. And also I think it's so powerful that you were able to correlate and to find connection with astrology, because it definitely puts, I think I am a big let's say find explanations, find reflections on nature, on just nature here on earth, and universe in general. And when we just get to be curious on stuff that goes beyond this physical world, and we get to experience practices that, for example, kundalini yoga, where you get to at the end work with your breathing, when you get to work with your energy, it definitely, it changes the whole game. Because when I do this with my clients, it's like you cannot do a physical detox without detoxifying your mind, your emotions, and your soul. You can actually literally, like I have had clients that when they're doing their supplement protocol, gut protocols, emotional, mental, like spiritual stuff starts coming up. Like they start remembering, like it's like they start to peel the onion, and they start thinking about when they were 8 years old and how they related to their parents or XYZ situation that happened. And also it's being able to like when you have someone in front of you, being able to respect the process that they are, if they need to find whatever that's suited for them. But also like ourselves being able to respect our own processes,
Yes.
because we can definitely have these super highs of energy, of spiritual connection, and then you get to just balance out in other opportunities, and it's like being able to respect when you have to focus more on your soul, and when you have to honor your physical body and your emotions and your mind, and that every cycle has a purpose. And you said it, like cycles, how we, if we are able to honor those cycles, it's like, if we will be like, if in nature, like if we could take advantage of the seasons that are being placed, everything would be so different, because we wouldn't be trying to be somewhere else, like in a different season, or in a we were just in the present enjoying what we have in front of us. And that's so powerful to be able to acknowledge in this journey, definitely.
Yes, one of my biggest takeaways from my time there is just to be present with whatever is showing up, because the running away and masking it, bandaging it, got me into that place. So whether it was anger, shame, guilt, grief, even the great moments, the joy, the peace I've experienced, honestly, it's such I experienced so much duality there. Extreme like joy to extreme depressive moods. Like both happened in that year. And honoring and being present with the emotions with that were there were absolutely key, and not trying to run from it, really sitting with it and not identifying it with it, not identifying like I'm an angry person. No, I'm experiencing anger. And what I also found was once I really got into the practice of transmuting and alchemizing the emotions. So once I felt the anger and allowed myself to feel it, it would then transform into like the sense of drive. Okay, now what? What are my lessons here? What are my takeaways? And how can I actually make an impact to change it for the better? But from a foundation that was like not ignoring it. It wasn't like I was immediately reactive to the anger. I allowed it to just be experienced and be seen. And going back to like the flows in nature and the cycles, we go through different cycles, and I astrology helped me see very validated, because have validated my experience in the cycle that I was in astrologically, because I was at my wit's end. I was like, what is happening? Why is this year so intense? What is happening? So when I learned about my Saturn return, and I just realized this is my cycle that I'm currently in on an astrological like place. And it helped me feel at peace that it wasn't permanent, that it was a cycle, and that nothing is forever. Things are, it's temporary. And to be present with the cycle and not run away from it.
Yes, that's so literally like being able to face yourself, being
Yes,
able to put yourself in front of the mirror and take off any judgment, and just be able to look yourself and be curious on all of those areas that need love. Because at the end of the day, it's not feeling bad for what you have done in all of these years. It's like you didn't knew better, but now that you have seen it, you take a different perspective and you give love to all of those parts that need it. If it's your inner child, if it's your soul, if it's your whatever it's needed, definitely. And honoring, when you get to see that, you get to honor the duality that we live as humans, instead of feeling like there's something wrong with me because I'm feeling a duality of intense emotions. Because feeling very happy, it's intense, and feeling states of depression where you are on your bed and you don't want to go outside, it's still very intense. And it's just having the power to feel, because emotions are so powerful. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have been disconnected from
Mhm.
our emotions for so long. Because I started my journey, honestly, because of many different things, but one of them, I was trying to feel back. I was trying to be able to feel, because I lost, like, in a survival mood, we start to disconnect from how we feel, and to ignore and to say everything's okay and just put a smile on. And yes, I got this, life is amazing, I'm so grateful, I have a roof under my head and I have family and loved ones. But you are not taking the moments that you really need to hear out those emotions. And
Mm.
that, yes, you can be very grateful for all the love, all the good things that you have, but that doesn't mean that your emotions aren't trying to show you something. Your emotions are there, trying to give you signals like, listen up.
Yeah, and the most powerful thing is to validate your own experience. And to say, like, I am experiencing this and it's okay that I'm experiencing this, and to allow you to experience it and to validate your own experience. Because if you don't, and you're waiting for someone else to validate your experience, like, you can keep waiting.
It's
Like,
how we said, like, it's like you're
yeah,
giving your power away, you're waiting for something on the outside to make a shift on the inside that honestly only you can make. There's
100%.
no tool, no trainer, no coach that can do something for you that you cannot do for yourself. Like, they are not giving you something that you already don't have inside you. They are just giving you clarity, tools, guidance for you to find that for you in a most let's say in a more harmonious, like in a more relaxed, how do I
In
put this in English,
a facilitated way, in a way
yeah,
that I'm just gonna turn my light, in a way that's facilitated in the highest and best way possible.
exactly.
Yeah, so they're
Totally.
not going in like completely unprepared,
Yeah,
or
and that we don't have to do
you
this
know,
alone. Like,
no.
so much support out there. And yes, like, there's no one coming in like, let's go today, let's go and make Carla's dream come true, let's take charge of your health. Like, you have to do that yourself, but you have
Yeah.
to go and find the help, find the support that resonates with you, whether it's a program, a book, going to a doctor, talking to a friend, whatever it is for you that resonates. And I think that part is important too. In here, we share different alternatives that have helped people on their journey. When I recorded my episode on sharing my story, I was like, these are just the alternatives that
Mhm.
work the best for me. This doesn't mean that they have to work for you, but at least you know that they exist and you can try them out. Because if you don't even know they exist, how you can be exposed to other alternatives that are not taking a pill, or just take this laxative whenever you're constipated, and see you next time if you have too much constipation. Like,
Yes, and it ultimately, the as an individual, we have to take radical responsibility and to seek the right support that resonates with us. And you'll know whether it's a specific coach, a specific therapist, you'll just resonate with who you feel is going to facilitate your process in the highest and best way possible for you. But they are only the facilitator. The person, the subject, the person is responsible for actually doing the work. But what's really powerful when you do the work is to be witnessed and seen and held in a safe space that is non-judgmental. And that's what I also offer my clients, because yes, we work on the nutrition plan. They can have me on, 24/5 chat support to be like, Carla, how do I cook sweet potato properly without burning? Like we can do that. However, consultations and the face-to-face speaking is what's most important, because I actually don't do a lot of talking. I actually just, ask my clients for certain questions, dig into certain triggers that they may be experiencing, taking their subconscious beliefs, subconscious emotions that have been repressed, bringing it to the conscious for it to be seen, experienced, and witnessed in a safe space that is non-judgmental. And that right there is such a healing process, because in a world where we live in such a fast-paced world, we don't have a lot of spaces like that, where we can go and say like, okay, this is what's happening, this is what's coming up for me, and just to have someone reflect it back to you. And so that I find is very, very powerful. And us as practitioners, I feel that sometimes we can actually forget how powerful that time is that we're offering and that we're providing for our clients. But that's also a huge part of their transformation and their journey. It's not just the supplements, it's not just the meal plans and the protocols. Really is the safe space, non-judgmental space. Because a lot of the emotions that do come up are icky, and we almost like, the reason why we haven't talked about them is because a lot of them we feel embarrassment of it.
Yes.
And so having the space to release the embarrassment and not be judged, it's like, okay, that's the first step that needs to be done.
Yes, and also, well, from your experience and from my experience, whenever I have someone in front of me, I I love to bring that safe space. I realized with time that that was what I love the most about my job. It wasn't doing the protocols, supplements, food. It was holding space for
Mm-hmm.
you to have someone that has lived what you have where you're experiencing, that truly cares about your being, not just as a lab result, that cares about your emotions, your soul, your mind, that truly cares about you. And also that, how do I put this in Spanish, that it's this person that truly cares about you, and it's really looking for you at the end of the day
Yes.
to shine. It's looking for you to come back to your own home soul essence. It's not me trying to push whatever felt that emotion. It's honoring what you are.
Yes. There's no other agenda but the client transformation, and that's right in front of us. And that's all that there is.
Yes.
There's no ulterior motives. There's nothing. It's just that beautiful transformation. And that is, to be able to facilitate and to witness that is such an honor.
Yes.
And whenever I get, as a practitioner, whenever I get this like sense of like, whenever I need a little reminder, my first client was my sister.
Mm.
She was my beta client who I tried my program out on. And anytime I feel like I need to pick me up as a practitioner, because I feel that like sometimes we can get in our own heads about our protocols and about how we go about our plans.
Or about just like, what is it that you're talking about that's going beyond the physical, definitely talking about
Yeah,
stuff that goes beyond what's normal, what's
yeah.
common, puts you in those places.
I'm so fortunate to have my sister who's literally walking proof of the program and the transformation, because it's been over a year since she embarked on it, and she has maintained her results. And it's because she dove into her emotional body as well. And I facilitated that with her as well.
Yes,
And
so
so
powerful.
really powerful. And to be a family member has been such an honor. And she's
Extra
really,
special for sure.
yes, and she's really done that transformation so successfully. And she to this day continues doing the emotional work and the healing work, because it's never ending. I thought I had it done completed when I was in Tulum. I was there launching my business, yada yada, and then no, it was not complete for me. It was not complete, and nor is it complete for my sister. However, she to this day tells me like, I am so grateful for the transformation because a lot has shifted in my life because I now have the confidence to make changes in my life.
Yes.
And that was huge. And it all started with a gut protocol.
Yeah. And also it's like no one it's like, okay, I'm healthy, there's nothing else I have to do with my life. And even when you get to this point of optimal health, you
Mhm,
don't stop living life, you get to face other situations that open up other stuff. Like for me, I had a
mhm,
car accident when I was, after 3 years of doing my healing, my chronic
mhm.
stuff healing, I was able to live 100% symptom free. And then I had this car accident that it's part of life. And at the end, it's not like stuff, it's not going to happen, it's not, you're not going to never get a flu, or that, stuff like that won't happen. They do, but it's so different when you know what when you know how to hear your body,
Mhm.
when you know that it's your body trying to say something and you honor that instead of ignoring, and when you know what your body needs. All of
Yeah.
this holding space that we love so much, at the end of the day, it's for you, for anyone that it's striving to be more empowered with their health. It's for them to have the tools and know what to do with their bodies, know how to adjust, because you can move from a different country, you can change your job, you can be a mother, and then health stuff change. I don't know, like so many things can happen. You might need to get a surgery because of car accidents. I don't know, so many things. And it's definitely way different when you have tools and when you have this connection with your body, as from this love perspective, from it's not failing me, it's always working on my favor. And if I give myself the opportunity to listen to my intuition, to my soul, my
Mhm.
body will always have the answer.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's about creating that toolkit from a place of love. That's key. The
Yes.
toolkit to nurture your body to from a place of love. Ah,
Yeah. tell
powerful.
me tell me a little bit more, now that we're talking about this. What were some, because I know in this journey we try a lot of things, like so many alternatives that we cannot even count. But at the end of the day, tell us which alternatives, beyond the physical body, with the physical body, whatever you want to cover, that were helpful for you. I'm sorry, that were helpful for you in this journey, and that you feel that will keep being helpful for you in this journey, no matter what.
Ah, I'm gonna say my breath, the breath, just conscious breathing and practices like Kundalini that align the breath with the movement and mantras. So for me, it is breath that is the most powerful thing, because I feel that I'm being led to an understanding that everything I need is within, including healing. And I'm on a journey of using my breath to really uh, heal the body from the inside out by doing certain movements, holding certain poses to stimulate the endocrine system, to wake up the kidneys on a daily basis, to give the liver some love. And through that, and what's key, what is the life force energy that we can cultivate through the breath. So yes, breath. And we can breathe. It doesn't have to be, your breath doesn't have to be um focused on in a specific practice. In our day to day, we can breathe in and out with conscious breath, breathing in and then exhaling out, full breaths, not shallow breaths. And doing that throughout the day is super is that's the key. That's the point, is in being able to integrate it in your day and not just only having it reserved for when it's time to practice. right?
Yes, that is literally the most important thing, being able to fill your cup, manage your emotions, manage your stress on day-to-day life. Not when you're feeling overwhelmed, not when your body is starting to show up symptoms because you haven't been able to listen. Super important for sure. And definitely breathing, it's such a powerful tool. I think that everyone, or not everyone, but probably like most people I have interviewed in this podcast have talked about breathing. They talk about yoga or meditation, and at the end, it's all about breathing. And I personally love this tool. It's something that I have studied a lot, and I love my clients to learn because you're always breathing. You always have this tool with you. It's not like, and I'm not saying that it's not helpful, it is, but
Mhm.
like for example, you can go to a therapist, you can go to a yoga session, you can go to a breathwork session, and you can do this work. You can get a massage. All of those things, yes, they're available at a specific time, and you need someone on the outside to deliver for you. But
Mhm.
when you're doing this work, and when you also, when someone is guiding on a breath work, when you're doing a breath work that someone's guiding on a podcast or whatever, the person that's doing the work, it's you. It's your
Mhm.
breath, it's your medicine, it's you releasing yourself. And that's why I really love breathing a lot. Like as you said, just being able to be present with, am I even breathing?
Yes.
Like sometimes you are holding your breath, and without breathing it makes it so much harder for you to be able to think, to do stuff.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. We sometimes get distracted with all the fancy solutions when the most powerful one is the most simple solution that's available to you at all times.
Exactly,
Your
it's
breath.
always available.
It's
Yeah.
always available. It's never over. And like it's never over with like unless like I don't know how to say this in the most in the in a way that's nice. Like your breath is your life force. It's your life. So it's
Literally,
about
when you're born, you're breathing, and when it's your last breath, that's when you leave on this
exactly.
physical
So
plane.
you said what I wanted to say.
Oh, so sorry.
Over until you like had your last breath. Like it's never over. As long as you have your breath, it's never over. It's not over.
Mm, so powerful. And with this that you said, how if you are here breathing, if you are here and your heart is beating and your lungs are being filled with beautiful oxygen air that we get to inhale, you're here
You're
on
here.
this beautiful human experience. And
And
you
what
get, yeah, go.
I was gonna say that I found that I my appreciation for the human body and the intricacies and how it works has really been cultivated in Kundalini yoga because we talk about certain movements impacting and working with the lungs. And when I start picturing my lungs, I start seeing all the work it does, and I have this like deep appreciation for the human body. And the more I dive into it, and the more I learn about it and understand, like, oh, my kidneys, like, they do so much for me. My
Yes.
liver is detoxing everything that is coming from the outside in. And my heart is beating and it's keeping like the circulation going. And when I really visualize it, I'm seeing the body not just as like scientific and like from a physiological perspective of like, okay, it's functioning, but I'm seeing it from like magic, like this beautifully designed organism that is almost like so intelligently functioning. And I'm like, and it's nothing, but I can't see it, but nothing else other than divine. And that's been also really impactful in how I treat my body now, rather than it being like this trophy that I thought, had to be a trophy for a nice Instagram picture and get the likes. It's more of like, it's divine. It's
Yes, and
to be worshipped. It's sacred. And that also bleeds, that embodiment of that bleeds into what I choose to put into my body, how the supplements that I'm choosing and the protocols that I decide to go on based on where my body can use more support, where I'm finding that it's compensating. Because another thing is, like, the body is always compensating. It wants to stay in a balance. So if it's not in balance, it's going to compensate in other body systems. And so really, like, seeing that as like, wow, the body's so intelligent. It wants me to be balanced. So it's compensating and creating this symptom. And that's actually genius, right?
yes, yes,
I hate our symptoms. We're like, oh my God, I'm bloated again. But it's like, no, I'm bloated because my body is doing something to help me out so that I can stay balanced. What a fascinating
yes,
thing.
yes,
Let me
and
support the body so it doesn't have to bloat.
exactly. And also, whenever you're feeling tired, for example, doing a protocol or just like feeling tired in general, I visualize it like, damn, my body is using so much internal energy for my body to be where I am, that it's not that like I don't have energy. It's being used in ways that I cannot see it, you know?
Mhm.
And I I think that we when we get to honor our bodies beyond a physical machine,
Yeah.
and really, it's like, damn, thank you, my beating heart. I'm so grateful that my heart is beating because I get to live life because of it. And thank you that I get to breathe and that my lungs get to be filled because I'm able to be here, and that this is the body that's holding my soul. Like,
Yeah.
thank you, physical body, for everything that you're doing for my soul to be contained in this body, for my emotions and my mind and my soul to be expressed into this body.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing your best for me being here. And whenever you choose to leave this plane, I'm just going to be so happy that you gave me your best for my emotions, my soul, and my mind to express.
Yes, and I felt that sense of love cultivated in a Kundalini yoga session. I literally felt like I was hugging myself. And that was really healing for me because before that, I don't think I've ever done a physical activity where I hugged myself afterwards. It was more of like, okay, like pat on the shoulder, you did good, but like next time let's push more, and so really just embodying that in our movements, in how we treat our body on a daily life, is really powerful. And that's going to just, again, you're making changes for your body. Because, and it's never to say that, like, I actually, for the first time in a long time, I did a hit workout this morning, but the energy behind it wasn't like, let me do this so that I can reach a certain result. It was, I actually feel like a child, like childlike play when I'm jumping and when I'm doing really fast movements. And I did it more for enjoyment and to feel my power again. But it just, that's what it was in the present. And that I see present with that rather than future pacing of like, how is my body going to look after I do this for, a couple, like a season or a cycle. It was staying present with, how does it make me feel right now? And it felt like I felt powerful because I've always been athletic, and I'm not going to not honor my athleticism by, before I was relating to it in a way that was very from an ego, from that was ego based. And now I'm honoring it from a soul level, that doing these fun activities and doing hit workouts, playing sports, it really fills my cup because it's enjoyment now.
Yes, and that is such an important part of healing and of life, like being able to have a space to play, to have
Yes.
fun, to fill up our inner child, our creativity. And we really like when you get to go to someone because you have gut issues, it's not like, how's your inner child? Tell me about it.
Yes, no,
How's your soap or
it never starts there. And I actually, it's, I don't speak too much. I'm gonna be assessing this on my rebrand, but I don't speak too much about inner child work and the emotional work, because when someone's going through extreme bloating and they come to you, the last thing they want to hear is like, let me fix my emotions. They're like, solve my bloating. It's so uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with this. But once that, because it's such a distracting symptom, to every, like, to go to bed every night bloated and uncomfortable and have this indigestion is really uncomfortable. And to talk to someone who's going through that and be like, okay, actually what's really happening is you're not digesting certain emotions, so then you can't digest your food. They're going to be like, are you crazy? Like, that's not just, so, tell me what to eat. And so with that, so my approach is to give my clients what they want at first, which is the physical stuff, but then to give them what they need so they can sustain it, and that will be the emotional, but when they have the space and the bandwidth to entertain it, because the physical symptoms can be so distracting.
yes, and if your belly, like if your gut, it's bloated, like your brain, it's gonna be inflamed, and it's gonna be harder to do the work. So
Mhm.
yes, I agree on both. Definitely, we need a solution when you're bloated, when you cannot eat on a daily basis. Like you need to be able to eat on daily basis to be
Yes.
able to do anything else as a functioning human. So it's being able to give a solution to what's going on in the present moment. It's not like, okay, so let's start doing, no, let's start taking action right now with all of this. And that's the beauty, that when you mix functional and holistic, you get to have those tools of, let's do the protocol, let's do this meal plan, let's do blah blah blah, all of this. And when you are in a better space physically and you're not compensating so much on that side, you will naturally will have space to do the
The emotion.
emotional,
Yes.
mental, and spiritual work. Yes.
Yes, that's what it's like, peeling back meeting our clients where they're at, meeting ourselves where we're at, and addressing what is most present for them and staying present with that. But once that's complete, there's another layer, and then addressing what's present there, which is usually the emotional stuff. And then once you address that, it's like going on the soul level, very spiritual, and really integrating that. And it's a complete, that's why our work is so powerful, because it's a complete body, mind, spirit transformation.
Yes, and that word, like you, the word that you just used, integrate. That's that, in my opinion, like the most powerful thing on healing, on what we do. It's that capability of integrating. Because I have met a lot of wonderful psychologists, breathwork practitioners, but they don't acknowledge the physical body as needed, and so they are limited on what their health looks like. And I
Mm.
have also met wonderful functional doctors that have limited their emotional traumas, childhood stuff, stress levels, and they are not as they could be optimal. And it's the key of integrating the physical, the mind, the emotions, the soul, and the environment that you are developing on, like the key to
Yeah,
unlocking full potential.
full potential. And that's what makes our program so special, is that it has that integration piece of all of it. And um it really does leave it on to the client. I feel at the end gets this like pleasant surprise, because they came in for like a gut healing of their physical symptoms, but then they leave like almost feeling like a new person.
Yes, it's like, oh, I'm not bloated, but actually, it's just like I feel so much like I feel like myself. I never feel like this in so many years, and yeah, totally.
And that's such a gift too, because we forget, it's almost like when you're experiencing bloating for so long, or like digestive distress, when you feel it for so long, you almost forget what it's like to feel like your old self or to feel without symptoms. And it's almost become normal. And just because it's normal, no, it's because it's your new normal, but that doesn't mean that that's your truth, or who you're, what's your highest expression of you. And so to be able to facilitate someone to get back to their highest expression of them is really powerful, and really it's such an honor to do. Um, I have a client who was literally bloated with everything that she ate, and she thought that's all she wanted. Just tell me what to eat, right? So I can just get through my day and I don't have to feel bloated. And however, like she, after be having like succeeding on the gut protocol, she rediscovered this new level of authenticity with herself. And because we don't realize sometimes how much the bloating can hold us back from doing things that would be authentic to our nature, but we're held back. It's like prison. It's like we're being put in cuffs from expressing our authentic self because we might be shy. I don't want to put on that swimsuit because I feel like my gut's sticking out, or I don't want to go to that party because I know there's going to be so many foods that I won't be able to eat. And so you're just not able to live your life in your fullest authentic expression of who you are. And and those symptoms can make us forget that because we're so focused on that pain, and being in that new normal.
Yes, totally. And it's definitely when you're dealing with any symptom on regular basis for any time, like even if it's short, it's but when it's chronic, when you have chronic bloating or pain or feeling tired all the time, it definitely affects even the way your brain gets to be wired, because something that was physical at the end started to be mixed with mental stuff. And then you got to this point where you cannot only use the physical to heal, you have to integrate way beyond. And I think it's so powerful everything that you have shared today about using functional labs, using supplements, using whole foods, nourishing the body instead of giving, fueling our bodies with foods that aren't really supporting our growth, our dreams. And it definitely shifts a lot internally when you stop focusing only on the physical. And without that, without doing this emotional work, you're in like everything, all of the emotional work that includes inner child, that includes adult beliefs, soul purpose, all of this. And till getting till today that you're in this place of life that you are making the best of the season that it's in front of you, that's unfolding. Tell me a little bit more about how do you feel today? We're recording this episode on July 18th, the 2022.
Yeah.
So how is your life today? How's your health issues? How all of those stuff have been able to improve? Do you depend on pills? Tell me a little bit of that.
Okay. So from a health side, I will say I am, after being a year in Mexico tropical area, it is time for me to do a really targeted gut protocol. So from that point of view, I'm really excited to get back my own stool test because I sent that in, and I'll be doing a food sensitivity test as
The
well.
most cool thing. You're like waiting for poop test to come. It's like
I am excited to see what shape my gut is in, and then from there, going to put myself on a gut protocol so that I can get it back to optimal function. And then also my goal for me is I find that I'm still limiting myself with certain foods. because I know that it does irritate my gut a little bit. And I know that the healthiest gut is the one that can accept as much whole foods as possible without having the irritation. So I'm really excited to build my gut and my gut flora to a point where I don't have to avoid any sort of whole food. I mean, in general, vegetable oils, processed foods, like those kind of foods, doesn't do anyone any favors. But if it's a whole food and it's nutritious, nutrient dense, I want my gut to be able to take that in. So I'm in the phase, I'm really excited. I would say in general, the word for where I'm at right now is excited, because I'm excited to get my gut to that level. And then in terms of personal development, I'm in this place of integrating everything that I learned in Tulum and to really stepping into my power and really cultivating the confidence from the inside out. And I'm really excited to make choices based on that. Make choices on, is this an internal confidence boost? Is this really going to be honoring that? Or am I doing this for validation because the external is giving me confidence? And so moving from that place. And in terms of my business, I'm also super excited because with these internal shifts within comes this inevitable rebrand. I can't show up as anything other than authentically myself. And so since I've gone through so many internal shifts, I'm in the process of reworking what that looks like and how I present that to the world in my message. And so I'm really in this place of like excitement as I'm stepping into the unknown. This is the unknown, uncharted territory that my soul has led me to. And instead of fearing it, I'm reframing it into being I'm just going to be excited. I choose to be really excited about this and how this is going to unfold for me.
I
So
love
yeah,
it.
thank you.
I love it. I'm so excited to keep seeing what you build, what you reflect on the outside of all of this internal work and everything that you share with us. And I know it's going to be beautiful, whatever unfolds for you, whatever you create, because it's definitely going to be a reflection of what love, authenticity,
Mhm.
genuine soul means. And that's literally the most powerful thing we can do. And it's not something that we get to see a lot. People being genuine to their soul, to themselves, beyond a business or beyond social media and stuff like that.
Because it's hard. The soul's kind of crazy sometimes. I'm just like, did I just get that internal guidance? Is that really what I need to do? And it's like, my true self is wild. Like she
Yeah.
a world. And yeah, and so I have I'm really learning to welcome that in and not to fear it. And my I feel that my intuition has deeply developed in the last little bit, and that's really where I'm moving, is into this intuitive guidance of listening to the soul, but it can be kind of intimidating.
Yes, yes, it definitely can be intimidating, and even a little bit more intimidating when it's not like everyone around you though does things, or is it like the norm? It's like hearing your soul and doing what your heart sometimes feels like can come up with challenges,
Mhm.
and it's also honoring that part too, for sure.
Yes, yes. It takes a definite strength and courage, and a confidence from within, because around you, everyone has their own, you can't compare your soul path with someone else. Everyone's is different, right? And so being okay with being unique, and
Hmm.
how that soul plan expresses itself on this earthly plane is going to be unique, because that's the nature of it. It can't be the same as someone else's. So you better be okay with being different and
Yeah,
really accepting that. And so
yeah.
accepting that and looking forward to it, and that's, you just, oh, it's exciting. It's exciting to really live in that it's a way of living, it's a way of moving, you know. It's after you made that shift, there's no other way to live your life.
Yes, yes, definitely. And being able to honor your soul definitely changes everything. I don't know if you ever read a book about Michael Singer. It's called The Surrender Experiment.
So I heard it on another podcast with one of our colleagues, Chloe. She talked about it on her podcast episode that she did with uh, Organic Olivia.
Uh-huh.
And so I actually have it on my bucket list of things to read.
That that is that it's a book that I highly recommend to you and to anyone reading. I'll put it on the description for any
Yeah.
curious listeners. I read that book. I finished reading that book the day I had the car accident.
Oh,
Or- And it's a very powerful book, but at the end of the day, the essence of it is that if you're able to honor the present moment, like what's unfolding in front of you, instead of avoiding what's in front of you fully, you're able to process life and live life in a whole totally different way, because it's like, I'm just here breathing out. The world, it's turning around, gravity, it's functioning. We have sunrise, sunsets, and that will keep on happening, whether whatever I have in front of me, it's happening as I want to, or if I make the best of what is unfolding in front of me, even if it's not what my ego wants to.
mhm.
And it's just a different way of living, honestly. And the way he experienced that, it's like everything that unfolded for him, it's just crazy. You're gonna enjoy the book. And I feel it for me that way. Like, I was an architect, living life, doing my stuff, and it's just like life unfolded for me in ways that I ended up being here hosting this beautiful podcast and helping women find root causes and all of that. And if my soul would have been resisting to what was
Yes.
unfolding in front of me, I would not have lived the same experiences that I live, and then like the sum of who I am would be different, making me a whole different person.
Mm. Ah,
So it's a little bit of that, of how the soul, like the universe, it's always unfolding. Whatever it is, if you how you choose to interact with that, it will how it changes everything. And how if you if you bring the best of
mhm.
you and you try to do the best of you, even if it's whatever it is, it doesn't matter, that the outcome will be the best possible, and that you will take the biggest gift, the biggest lessons, the biggest anything that you want from that season, that situation. So yeah, I think that you are going to enjoy it a lot for sure.
Yes, and I'm going to take this as a sign from the universe for me to read it because it's my second time that it was presented to me. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is about it really what I got out of what you just said was like just showing up fully for whatever is in front of you. Doesn't matter what the activity is. You could be cooking. Are you fully present for that cooking meal, or are you scrolling? Are you doing a podcast interview? Are you fully present for that interview, or are your thoughts thinking about what you're going to do next?
Yeah.
Or are you watching TV? Are you, even if it's watching TV, are you watching TV or are you folding laundry at the same time? Like, it's like whatever you're doing, just do it in that present moment.
Are you really, like, when you're talking to someone, are you really listening? When you're doing a walk, are you really feeling, your feet on the ground and hearing nature, like feeling the breeze, like not taking those things for granted, for sure.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, yeah, I think that healing can be very philosophical a lot. Like it can be a lot of science, but it can definitely be a lot of soul, emotions, mind, and you know, if we go beyond like astrology and multiple goodies integrated for sure. If you had that experience, that opportunity that well you're having right now, to give advice, reflections, say any words to someone who is experiencing with what you experienced, and maybe thinking a little bit of your past version, like that was living all of these things, what would you like to say to that person, to that version of yourself, from obviously all of these learnings, all of these years, all of the experiences that have built it up, this consciousness, this awareness, till today?
It would be that there's nothing I need to do. I just have to be myself. And in that being, everything will be unfolded in front of me. And that's not any less valuable than doing a specific task. Because in the being, you will find what needs to be done. And so to find that place where you can be and not to judge yourself for being. I learned that, and then I found that experience of me being very powerful for me. And I really was able to accept it once I learned about my human design being a generator. And so if I had
Oh, a generator.
yeah, so if I would have to tell someone, it would be to know, like just knowing yourself and not judging is really powerful, and to find the tools that are really going to help you get to know you, whether it's through books, podcasts, astrology. Astrology helped me really see myself as well. Human design, finding those tools to really get to know you. And it's hiring a coach, hiring someone to work with is probably the most powerful thing to do, because um, it's like you're getting the Cold Notes version of the journey, and you don't have to go at it alone. So it's okay not to like, it's okay if you don't want to do all the heavy lifting and that you want to get support. So that's
Yes, totally. And also knowing that you can get different types of support. You can get someone that helps you pick that up. You can get a group of people to help you pick it up, but
yes.
you're not alone. And after all of this that we have talked, it's for people to really hear other humans experiencing stuff that when we are experiencing them sometimes can feel we can feel that we're the only person in the world dealing with stuff like this, and we're definitely not, and there's
No,
others out there that understand.
there are others. And when I reflect back on what has been my biggest teacher, it's been relationships. Relationships to mentors, relationships to friends, relationships to partners, relationships to crushes, relation things, and how I relate to them. So how I relate to things, but also the relationships themselves, because they were often mirrors. And I always would ask the question whenever I would have a specific relationship and it felt very interesting, felt very activating. I would ask God, I would go up and I would say, like, what do you want me to learn from this? What is here for me?
Mm.
And then also in times of struggle or in times where we feel like we're at our wits' end, that prayer really goes a long way. And to also use prayer and asking a higher, like a higher power, whether God, divine, however you want to reference it, not just using it in times of like despair, but also using prayer every day on like a daily basis, and just to set, and whether you fully believe or not, but it's just a great way to set intention and to really be present with that prayer as you go in. It's not like, well, I'm gonna just like quickly like say something, pray, and then go on with my day, but really to sit with it and to really marinate in that prayer.
That's so beautiful. And it's definitely really important and powerful to have that day to day or as regular as you can connection to
Mm.
that source of infinite love in any way that it's reflected on and the people that's listening, but that connection with that higher self, that
Mhm.
high, that part that's going beyond, and
Beyond the
it's,
physical.
yeah, definitely. And it's very powerful because, especially because you're a functional nutritionist. Like I interview a functional diagnostic practitioner nutritionist also a few weeks ago, and she also works with functional labs like we do and all these things. And one of the things she recalled was her faith.
Mm.
That, and so the fact that you're bringing up again, even with all of this training in the functional world, definitely like puts very clear that we need to go beyond the physical body.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for sharing your story, for opening up your heart, for
Oh.
being an example of what healing is, for what health is, for what our bodies are capable of doing, for honestly living a life that honors your soul, and that opens up opportunities for others to do the same, because you are an example to anyone that watches you on social media, family, friends, that you're able to really honor your soul and honoring everything that you are and living healthy and knowing what to do to maintain that in the short, long term, any term that you want. So I really wanted to thank you for your time. And yes, I know that from people that's hearing us right now, and that definitely resonates with wanting to go beyond the physical body. You have shared with us today reflections of how to do that, and I think that's super valuable. I wanted to thank you. And yes, just really grateful on that. And always welcome over here if you want to talk other topics, and let us know how you're available for help. I'm putting on the description your social media like Instagram, so if anyone wants to connect with Carla, you can go to that description. But is there anything you want to tell to people that want to join community? I don't know, your open space here.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for having me on. I love having opportunities to speak my truth because that is also part. I found that me being on this podcast is also really healing for me as I integrate speaking up and speaking my truth as part of my healing journey. So thank you for affording me the opportunity to do that. And to opening myself up to this experience. It's very it is a heart opening experience to share the story. And for anyone who is out there, feeling like confused or feeling like they want support, to know that there are practitioners out there like myself, like Mar, who are literally like are your biggest supporters, because we know what it's like to feel like in this place of dark, and then to have like a light to have this light in the middle of this tunnel and to like be able to follow it. And so just to also not to be shy about reaching out, because you don't have to, look at be in the struggle phase and wear it as like a badge of honor, like I can push through. Life doesn't have to be like that. And so the best place to find me right now would be on Instagram. At Carla Romeo is my handle. And that would be the best place right now to find me. I would say yes, on Instagram.
Awesome. I love it. I know for sure you're going to get a beautiful energy. You're going to get a lot of honoring in your body and just being authentic. So, if you're looking for those things, and obviously functional nutritionist and all of the goodies, that's a very special account to have on your Instagram for sure.
Thank you. That means a lot. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like we have connected very deeply, and I never take these connections for granted. Like I find that I'm the type of person to really have deep connections. Like I can it's at a point where I don't can't do small talk anymore, you know? It's like it's we're deep or we're not. So
Yeah.
I really do honor that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again. Truly appreciate you. And hopefully we get to see each other in Tulum or in Toronto or maybe here in Panama someday.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, thank you for your time. And we'll see you on the next one.